everyone, it's Bryony. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my must-have baby products for 6 to 12 months. I actually want to start off by saying that when I was preparing for this video, I noticed that I had significantly fewer things for 6 to 12 months compared to 0 to 6 months that I felt were really sort of essential to have. And I think that is a universal thing. As children get older, you find that there are less specific products that you feel you really need to have. I also think that there is quite a lot of stuff that is marketed to new parents for newborns, which is kind of unnecessary stuff. But as babies get bigger and you kind of figure parenting out a lot more, the retailers realise that actually they can't quite take advantage of your naivety as much as they can when you're pregnant and a new parent and you don't know what's coming, and they tell you you need to buy this, and then there's like so many things to buy. So it's interesting to see the shift. But yeah, definitely I feel in the 6 to 12 month mark there are fewer things that you need to have, or that I feel you need to have, compared to 0 to 6 months. However, quite a few of them are to do with weaning, because obviously from 6 months is the recommended age, at least in the UK, where children should start to have solids introduced. And so quite a few things on my list, I think 4 of the things on my list are weaning related. Starting off with the first thing on my list, the Chaos Clap high chair. This high chair was definitely also on my 0 to 6 month list. It has been probably one of the best buys that I've actually had. Actually, to be fair, the company gifted this high chair to me, which was very kind of them, but it has been one of the most useful baby products that I've had. When Oren was really small, I talked about this in the 0 to 6 month video, but he didn't really want to be put down, so he wouldn't really go in a bouncer or anything. But also he wasn't a fan of being swaddled either. For nighttime sleep he was a fan of being swaddled. But in terms of being like in a carrier, he wasn't a big fan of that. And so the best thing I found for me if I wanted to be in the kitchen was to put him in the baby seat attachment that can go on the Chaos high chair. And that was great for me. It allowed me to actually get some cooking done, to cook some healthy food for myself, and he could be up higher, see me more easily, and it just worked brilliantly for him. That seat was great. So in 0 to 6 months, that's how I use the Chaos high chair. But obviously he's now weaned, and so he is sitting in a high chair. Also, side note, I find it interesting when I say the word weaned that people think that means I've stopped breastfeeding, because obviously we talk about weaning off breastfeeding, but in the UK we talk about weaning as like introducing solids. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're stopping bottles or breastfeeding. So when I'm saying weaned here, I don't mean he's still breastfed. I don't mean he's stopped breastfeeding. I mean the introduction of solids. That's the word that we use here. Not sure if it's the same everywhere, because definitely a lot of people seem to confuse it with me saying I've stopped breastfeeding or I'm stopping breastfeeding, and that has not been the case. But anyway, from 6 months he started solids, so I moved him from the baby seat over to the high chair seat with the tray. Now, when I was ordering the Chaos, the company said to me, just pick all the bits that you want and we'll send them over, and I debated whether or not to get the tray, because I've always previously used a high chair like pushed up against the table, but I decided as I wasn't having to pay, I might as well get the tray as well. And actually I am so glad I did. That tray has been really great. If you are considering buying the Chaos high chair, would definitely recommend getting the tray. It comes off really easily, it's dishwasher safe too, so you can just stick it in there, but it's so much easier to wipe out the tray. And also because the edges are slightly curved, when he was like first getting started with solid food, because we mostly did baby-led weaning, he's not really been a fan of like he doesn't like being spoon-fed really, he never has done. Done a few pouches, but mostly he's had solid food. So when he was like trying to grab it and it was kind of pushing up to the sides, he could kind of push it up against the side of the tray and eat it, if that makes sense. So actually that tray was very invaluable to me in the end. So yeah, that was definitely worth getting. So even if I hadn't been lucky enough to have the high chair gifted to me, it's still something I definitely would not have regretted spending money on. We use it every day now, with him obviously being over a year old and eating regular meals. And also it looks really stylish. It folds up so you can tuck it out the way if you're doing the vacuuming or something, or if you just want to store it away for a little bit. And it's going to get years of use, because not only have I had it from like, I think he was 8 weeks when we first got it, it's going to last him until he's probably around 7, because we forget that when children grow out of their high chairs, they're still not tall enough to sit on a regular chair, so you probably need to move to a booster seat. But with the Chaos high chair, they just sit on that up at the table. It's a higher level for them, so it's really great. And I absolutely loved that I didn't need to build anything with it. I hate DIY, and so it just literally came out the box all ready to go, and that was the best feature of it. I think I might still have an active discount code for Chaos, which if I do, I will put it in the description box down below. They have also recently, like just literally like the last month or so, released a new version of the Chaos Clap high chair where they've made one out of recycled plastic, which makes it a lot cheaper. So I think that one is now the cheapest birth to childhood high chair that is available on the market. The discount code won't work on that one. It'll only work on one of the wooden models, I'm afraid. I do know that much, if I do have a code still active. But yeah, definitely worth taking a look if you're in Europe. I don't think they ship to the United States, but if you're within Europe, then have a look at their website, because yeah, I said I've loved the products. It's really well made. All the plastic bits are made from recycled plastic. The wood's sustainably sourced. It's just, they're a lovely company, a Norwegian company. And yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed having that high chair. We use it all the time and it's been great. My next baby essential for 6 to 12 months is suction plates. These are the ones that I use and they have been great. They're by the brand Vital Baby, and I think this is the Nourish plate it's called. And the 3 divided portions of it have been fantastic for me, because I tend to put like something like a main savoury thing in the bigger portion, and then 2 smaller things, usually fruit in one, and maybe some like meat of some kind, like some sausages or some meatballs or whatever that I've made in the other one, so that he has a few things to choose from. Initially when he started weaning, I didn't bother with plates. I just literally put it on his tray and he would like pick at it. But as he's got bigger, I'd say from around 9 to 10 months, I've started doing like proper meals. So he has a few bits to choose from. That's the point at which I think he was still throwing quite a lot on the floor, but he was happy to sort of pick different things up. And now in particular, I mean, he's bigger now, he's 15 months. We still use them and they're still great. And I find that the suction on them is pretty good. He can get it off, but he does have to yank it around quite a bit to do that. So it has enough suction for him to kind of like need to really pull at it to get it off. But otherwise, it's great having the divider plates. Vital Baby also do another plate which looks like this, which has the strongest suction I have ever come across. Like, no child is getting this plate off. So if you have a baby who is like who throws everything on the floor, their plate, all of it, they like to throw their plates on the floor, try this particular style, because honestly, they have a separate suction cup that you stick on, and then you basically twist the plate onto it, and it really does work. Oren has never managed to get it off. As an adult, I can if I really yank it, but otherwise, like, it is a solid suction cup plate. So if you have an issue with that, try that one. But otherwise, I find that the divider suction plates have worked best for me. I haven't really done much with bowls. I had some plastic bowls that I've just collected over the years from fostering, which I've used. None of them have suction on, because he doesn't spoon feed. He's never been spoon fed really, apart from porridge in the morning. That's the only thing I really give him that's spoon fed. But otherwise, like, he's not a big fan of mixed meals like spaghetti bolognese or cottage pie and stuff. He likes things to be a bit more separated out still. I haven't really had to use any bowls that suction to his tray or any plates that just have like one section on it, because he likes to choose things. But I have to say, he has now mostly got over his throwing stage. He doesn't tend to throw things anymore. He tends to kind of wave them at me and kind of move it off the tray and put it onto the table instead, which is quite cute. My next essential for 6 to 12 months is bibs. Now, there are many different types of bibs out there that you can choose from, and I have to say, I never got into the Bibado hype. Like, Bibado, I don't know about other places in the world, but Bibado in the UK is like the bib brand. Everyone seems to have one. They are like full coverall bibs. They go over the tray. They have like an elastic you can tighten underneath. Yeah, they're really well known. Pretty much everyone I think I know has a Bibado bib. I don't, and honestly, I haven't missed it. So if you're debating whether or not it's worth the price and you're kind of on the fence, don't worry if you don't get it. Like, you will still be fine. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Bibado ones are bad. Like, I know many mums rave about them and think that they're great, and if it works for you, fantastic. But they are quite pricey, and so if you're debating whether or not it's worth spending money for that, or if you're like on a tighter budget and debating whether it's worth it, I personally haven't had one, and I've not felt the loss of that at all. Again, Oren wasn't really a puree fed baby, and so he's not really been that messy a baby, I have to say. We haven't had many meals where I've had to like really douse him from head to toe, stick him in a bath afterwards. I've mostly given him like drier foods that are kind of easy to pick up by his fingers, and that's partly because I like having less cleanup afterwards, but partly because that's the food he likes too. But the bib system I've always found that works best for me is to combine an overall kind of like this, either made from toweling or from like a waterproof material. I actually kind of prefer the toweling ones, I'm not going to lie, even though they do require a washing a bit more. I do quite like them, but toweling or waterproof long-sleeved bib combined with a scoop silicone bib like this. These two together, I put the toweling or waterproof all-in-one coverall on first, and then I put the bib over the top. That's always served me fine, and these like regular coveralls, they cost, I think a pack of 2 of these from John Lewis cost the same as 1 Bibado bib. So I can get 4 of these for the cost of 2 Bibado bibs, and that's like, that would be me done. Or I only need 2, to be honest. Alternate between 2 of them now, 2 maybe 3 possibly. And I only have 3 silicone scoop bibs. Again, I've kind of picked these up over the years, although I think I was gifted some on my Amazon wish list. Yes, I was. Some silicone bibs, and we use them quite often too. They've been great. And they don't cost a fortune either. So if you're on a tighter budget and debating what you need to get bib-wise, I just recommend getting some of these, and then all you need to do is just combine them together. And you'd be amazed at how much they can catch. I would also recommend, if you've got the long sleeve one, particularly in the summer, pull the sleeves up like this on them so that they've got their elbows free, and then it gets messy along here. You just have to wipe them down. You don't need to wash the bib after every use. I certainly don't. I kind of keep using it until it gets a bit disgusting, and then I'm like, okay, now it needs washing. But generally speaking, I can, as long as it's not too messy, I can kind of use it a couple of times before it needs a wash. So if you're thinking that your budget isn't really going to stretch to the Bibado bibs and you're kind of reluctant to pay that much money, don't worry, just get these 2 styles of bib and you'll be fine. And the final weaning related product that I would say has been an essential for me for 6 to 12 months is cheeky wipes. Again, I think I mentioned this in my 0 to 6 month video that I did. They were particularly great for nappies when he was a breastfed baby, because the breastfed pooch just got everywhere, and they were fantastic for cleaning that up. I have to say, I now don't use them for his nappies, but I do use them for wiping his hands after he's had his food, and they are fantastic. I can usually clean them up with just 1 wipe, and they are far more effective than the disposable wipes. So if we're out and about and I'm using a disposable wipe, I always think, God, like these are so much worse than the cheeky wipes. So definitely, if you have the budget for it, or if you're putting a list together for a baby registry, if you're pregnant still, I'd highly recommend asking for a box of cheeky wipes, because they can do so many things. But having reusable wipes is great when babies are weaning. They are just so much more practical in terms of cleaning them up. They get the muck off more easily. Yeah, they're great. So highly recommend some cheeky wipes. The next thing on my list of essentials is a decent pushchair. I think, again, I mentioned this in my 0 to 6 month video, but having a decent pushchair has been a godsend for me in the 6 to 12 month period. Oren has never really been a baby that likes to be in a carrier. He has tolerated it a lot more since being 6 to 12 months, I must say. And I do have a Tula carrier, which I haven't put on this list of essentials because I haven't used it that much. But on the occasions I have used it, he is now much happier in it. But generally speaking, day to day, I tend to use a pushchair, and having a decent pushchair makes life so much easier. I have a few pushchairs because I have a bit of a pushchair addiction, but also I like to have pushchairs for different things. So for example, I have a really compact travel pushchair. I have an off-road pushchair for when we go out and about a bit more, places where I know the ground's going to be a bit more uneven. And then I have my city pushchair that I kind of keep in the car and use the most. That one is a Bugaboo Dragonfly, which I am still really loving. I'm still loving the fact that it's got a big basket. I love the fact that I can take my backpack and clip it on the handlebars. He's still facing me, but he will face forwards a bit in a short period of time, I think, because he's getting a bit bored of looking at me. And I just love how quick and easy it is to unfold and fold. That's definitely my favourite feature with that pushchair, and also the massive basket with it too. So still loving that one. It is pricey though, so don't think that you have to spend lots of money on a pushchair. I just happen to really like pushchairs, so for me, spending the money was worth it, and I'm really glad that I did. But getting a good pushchair is something that is going to make your life so much easier. Finding the right pushchair for you. If you live somewhere with not a lot of space, getting a more compact pushchair is probably going to work for you. If you live somewhere with rougher terrain, getting a more all-terrain pushchair is going to be better for you. Just really taking the time to think through what pushchair you're going to use the most is something I think that's really important. But also consider that if you are looking to get a bigger pushchair, it's okay to then get a more compact one later on if you want one that's really easy to throw in the car when you're going out and about and stuff. That's generally speaking what I tend to do. Oren's not quite there yet, but I think very soon I will be switching to just having the travel pushchair in the car as he gets bigger, because it's just so much easier and more compact to have that in there. But given how much that we are now going out and about as he's got more active, going to more clubs, going to soft play and stuff, having a pushchair that I can throw everything under and which can take us everywhere has been fantastic. So definitely I'd say a pushchair has been an essential for me. The next thing on my list of essentials is toys. Now, 0 to 6 months, I don't think toys were really that important. You could kind of distract them with other things, or you could just, you know, if they were if you had a play gym for them that kind of had toys they kicked at, that was good. And as they got bigger, they might get more interested in playing with certain things. That's true. But 6 to 12 months, this is where toys really come into their own. They actually start to properly engage with them, start to play with them. And so it's really lovely to see their interaction with toys at this age. Now, I'm really lucky that because I'm a content creator, I get sent the Love Every boxes for free every couple of months. So the first year, I think they do boxes for 2-month intervals. So every 2 months you get a new box. Once they reach a year old, it goes to every 3 months. So he's now, I think, on the 13, 14 and 15 month box, and he'll need the 16, 17, 18 month box soon. And I have to be honest, I don't think I've bought him any other toys, because he's collected so many Love Every toys over the last year that he's got plenty of things to play with. I do get asked whenever people see I had the Love Every toys whether they are worth the price, and my honest opinion on it is, if you have the budget to easily afford them, then yes, they absolutely are. They are lovely, really high quality, well-made toys that have been really well thought out. When you get the box, you get like a little booklet as well that tells you what each toy is doing developmentally wise and how you can play with them with it and stuff. They're really informative. They're really well thought out boxes. I definitely think they are worth their price, but obviously they are, I think, £80 a box, so like roughly £40 a month. So if you are on a tighter budget and you're thinking like, should I stretch my budget to buy them? I'd say no. Like, honestly, children will play with pretty much anything. You can buy cheap toys second hand. There's loads of stuff you can get which children will have a perfectly fun time playing with. Don't overstretch your budget just for the sake of them, but if you can easily afford them and you're wondering whether they're worth it in terms of the quality and the use that you get out of them, I have to say 100%. Like, as I said, we're very lucky we get them for free, but they are so lovely, and they are, as I said, they're pretty much the only toys that Oren has that I've bought him. So there's a couple of other things, like he's got a walker and he's got like a Grimm's rainbow toy stacker, which I just love, that I've had with a couple of my kids as well. But other than that, the vast majority of his toys have been things that he's got from that Love Every box, and I start to like switch them around and rotate them with other toys. But I definitely say that 6 to 12 months is where toys really become more important, to kind of really come into their own, and the babies actually start playing with them and interacting with them a bit more. So this is the stage where you do want to start thinking about some of the toys you want to get. Do you want to go down more of the Montessori route? Do you just want to get, you know, some cheap plastic toys from a secondhand shop? Absolutely fine. Do you want more wooden toys? Do you want whatever it is? Because I personally quite like to have more sort of natural material toys, so metal, wood over plastic. We do have plastic toys, don't get me wrong. Like, my mum just got him a plastic like remote control that makes noises. That's the only toy I have that makes noises, because I can't stand any others. But he's always stealing my phone, always trying to steal the remote, so I got him a fake one to try and distract him. It kind of works. But most of my other toys are sort of more natural, and I quite like to have a more minimalist toy style. So if there's any interest in a video talking about like the 10 minimalist toys the only 10 toys you really need to have, do let me know, because I do find that stuff quite interesting, and I definitely notice that kids play better with certain toys more than others. So yeah, but as of right now, he pretty much just has Love Every toys. We get a lot of use out of them. They're very well made. If you've got the budget for it, great. If you haven't, don't overstretch yourself. I think I might have an affiliate link for Love Every, which if I do, I'll put it down below. If I don't have it, I'll just put the regular link down below. But yeah, they are great. So if you've got the budget, I would recommend investing in them. The next thing on my must-have list is a white noise machine. Again, mentioned this in 0 to 6 months. A lot of these things have overlap, which I think in some ways can be helpful to see that they're still being used later on and what's worth investing in up front. The white noise machine, I wish I'd invested in this earlier, honestly. So I have the Mum Cozy. It's basically like the knockoff of the Hatch. It's like half the price, but it's been absolutely great. And it has a nightlight and it also plays music. I now don't use the nightlight function of it. If I had it from when he was born, I would have 100% used that when I was breastfeeding in the night, just tapped it on to feed him and then tapped it off. It would have been fantastic for that, and you can also adjust how bright it is and the colours, etc. But we mostly just use it as a white noise machine now, and it's brilliant. The other great thing about it is it travels with you, so if you're moving around quite a bit, we actually have one at my parents' house, so he can have the same noise there as he has here, and I don't need to unplug it from the wall here. But we're going on holiday next week, and I will definitely be taking that with me because it just allows consistency of sound depending on wherever you are. So that was 100% something that was worth investing in the early days, and he's still using it now, even at 15 months, like even beyond the 6 to 12 month mark, we still use it. But like the early, like in 6 to 12 months, definitely was a great thing to have, made life a lot easier. And the final thing on my 6 to 12 months must-have list is a toddler bath. Now this one I think is most interesting because I have a feeling I might have mentioned this in my 0 to 6 month products I loved and products I hated or regretted buying video, that this was one of the things I didn't use as much, was the Stoker Flexi Bath. And certainly for 0 to 6 months I didn't use it as much because I had a newbie like baby bath which had a recline built into it, and I definitely used that much more with it. That's the only thing I used with him pretty much in the 0 to 6 month period. But when he could sit up independently from about 6 months, I then moved him over to the Stoker Flexi Bath, and now this has been well worth the money at this point. So I actually bought it secondhand, so it wasn't that expensive anyway, but I didn't need to get the newborn seat as it turned out, because I never used it with a newborn, and also that particular seat is a rubbish shape for a newborn. I wouldn't recommend it. But the bath itself really come into its own now because it allows me to bathe him really quickly. I have quite a big bath in my bathroom and it takes a while to fill it up, and particularly given that like with Oren I only bathe him often for like a couple of minutes, particularly if he just got grubby from dinner or whatever and I just want to give him a quick clean. I don't want to spend like 10 minutes filling up the bath with a lot of water and lots of wastewater as well that he's not really going to need or use. And so having a toddler bath means that his little Stoker Flexi bath that I can fill that up in under 2 minutes, probably under a minute to be honest. And it allows me to bathe him quickly, and it uses less water, so there's less waste, and it's just been fantastic. 6 to 12 months, that bath, invaluable. And actually the Flexi Bath folds up so you could take it away with you. I personally have to say, I haven't really used that function at all. It mostly just stays open, but so I wouldn't necessarily say you need to invest in the Flexi Bath if you're looking at the price of it brand new, it's quite expensive. But a toddler-sized bath, if you've got the space to just store it, to me it's just lent against the next side of my bath. 100% worth it because you can bathe them really quickly. If they have any like nappy mishaps or what have you, really easy to run a bath quickly and just stick them in there without having to wait for a whole bath to fill up. Less wasteful. What more could you want? So yeah, I think that's the most interesting one because like I said, that's the product that I didn't use very much in the early days, but which now like use all the time and it has to be on my kind of essentials list because it does make life so much easier. I don't travel with it, which is why I don't think the flexi part is necessary. I'll be honest, when we go away, if we go away somewhere, I'll just fill the bath for that period that we're away, or I might even bathe them in the kitchen sink because I've done on holiday recently. Nice, quick, easy way to have a bath for them. That's an easy level for your back height as well. It's great bathing them in the sink from time to time. And does anyone else remember getting bathed on holiday in the sink? I always was as a kid, so it kind of feels like a memory from that too. But anyway, like that's the point I'm making is I didn't travel. I don't really use the flexi part of it. It can fold up and store out of the way more easily, which I do think will be good when Oren has outgrown it, and I want to keep it for baby number 2. But it's not an essential thing. So if you're looking for like a cheap secondhand toddler bath on like Facebook Marketplace or something, just look for any of them. But I do think they are worth having. So there are all my 6 to 12 months essentials that I have found useful for me personally with my son in the 6 to 12 month period. I'd be really curious to know if there are any products that any of you guys have used with babies that age that you feel are like your must-haves. I honestly had to think quite hard about this because I found that this period, there was a lot less that I felt was absolutely essential. And even these things, you know, you can do without them. They're just things that they're not really essentials. They're things that make your life a bit easier and I think are worth investing in if you can afford to. But actually, it's worth remembering babies are not as expensive as we think. Capitalism is expensive and it tells us we need all these things for babies. But actually, their basic needs, they don't cost that much to support. The thing you're going to be spending the most money on in the 6 to 12 month period is probably food that they're not going to be eating, I'm going to be honest. So I found that, you know, all the weaning products, that was mainly this period, because that's when they obviously from 6 months start weaning and they start eating more and getting more into food as they get older through that period. But ultimately, you know, whatever you've got, you'll make it work. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I do hope this video was helpful to you if you have a baby and you're approaching the 6 to 12 month mark and wondering what things you should maybe invest in, or maybe you're pregnant and looking at some of the things that would be worth investing in for you. As always, thank you so much for watching, and an extra special thank you to my Precious Star Superstar members who give me a bit of extra support each month. Thank you so much, guys. If you're interested in joining, click on the join button down below or check out the link in my description box. You get early access to videos and early responses to any questions from me. Thanks so much, everyone. Do please subscribe and I will see you very soon. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.